to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast, the longest-running Miami Dolphins podcast on the internet.
We're always in control, and when you say Miami, you're talking to Red Bull. 'Cause we're the Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1.
Hello, Miami Dolphins fans. How are you today? My voice going out. How are you today on this Tuesday, October 28th? Thank you for listening to the DolphinsTalk.com podcast. I'm your host, Michael Leva, joined as I am by Josh Moser from WSVN7, South Florida's #1 news station. If you're in South Florida, like I was a few weeks back, you're in your hotel room, turn on Channel 7, watch Josh Moser. Josh, how you doing today?
Good. It's weird. Like, you get all these people flying into town and like, oh, there's Josh on TV. And I'm like, they don't know me in that capacity.
I know. I know.
Yeah. It's good. We can talk about a win. Got a lot going on in sports down in South Florida this week. We had all our teams win this weekend, which was the first time in a long time.
That's first time in a very long time, especially with teams like the Heat, who kind of, they're not the Heat of years past. You had, obviously, the Miami Dolphins, and, to have all of them win really was something. So we're going to talk about all that.
Yeah, got Halloween this week. Everybody's
Halloween, and for
down here.
And for those who missed it, myself and Miss Allie herself, also known as AKA Dolph Freaky, yesterday had our 2025 candy draft. That's right. We did a draft where we picked the best candy. Went just like mock draft style, round one, straight through, I don't know, maybe 10 or 11 rounds. And you can check that out here at the Dolphins Talk YouTube channel. Look, you can only talk so much football. Sometimes you got to have fun.
What was the first pick? Now I want to know.
So she had the first pick. She took Hershey's in round one with pick one. Just the old-fashioned, old-school Hershey's bar. I took Reese's Peanut Butter Cups with my pick next.
Okay.
I think next one she went with Kit Kat. That was her second pick, and mine was, I can't remember right now, honestly. But yeah, we did like 10 or 11 rounds.
Okay.
We had some fun because you got, it's Halloween week. Everyone loves candy. We had a candy draft.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get to this show, shout out as always to the sponsor of this show, Caneswear. Everyone go to caneswear.com for the best and most affordable apparel for all the South Florida teams, especially the Miami Dolphins. You need a hat, a hoodie, a shirt, a jersey, something for the home, something for the car. Go to caneswear.com. They also have stuff for the Hurricanes, the Panthers, the Heat, the Marlins, and all the South Florida teams. I was just in their store a few weeks ago. It's awesome. They got it all. If you're in South Florida, stop by at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. Caneswear has it all. Also, a shout out to everyone at the I Am a Miami Dolphins Fan Facebook page, run by the great and talented Carlos Hernandez. Dolphins Talk Extra, Thursday night. Myself and Josh Katzker, not this Josh, our other Josh, we're going to be doing a live watch along for people who are members of Dolphins Talk Extra. Go to patreon.com/Dolphins Talk. Watch the game with us in real time, and you can pop on the screen with us as well. And, we first guess, we don't second guess on those watch alongs. So it's a lot of fun to watch the games with us in real time. And also, for those watching on YouTube, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. Super chats are open. If you send us a super chat, we'll read it on the air as well. All right. Dolphins had a shocking win. And yes, I call it shocking because who could have seen that coming after they lost the week previously to the Cleveland Browns? So my question to you to start this show, was that an outlier, or can this team get a little hot here and maybe win a few games and go on a little bit of a winning streak?
It's an outlier.
That's what I thought too. I got yelled at on Twitter for saying that.
When you have Kirk Cousins in a quarterback versus Michael
Bingo
here, it changes everything. And I'm sorry, I want to put the feather in the cap for the Dolphins and say that this is repeatable, but there's no indication that they've given all season that this is repeatable. The best thing that I saw was that they didn't shoot themselves in the foot as much as they have been. And that's going to be key. And I understand everyone's going to say the Ravens have only won 2 games, but Lamar Jackson's been out a month. And the 2-time MVP coming back this week. And we know what this Dolphins defense is like when they have a mobile quarterback as their opponent. So it's going to be an uphill battle. I want to say Baltimore's favored by more than a touchdown on the road on Thursday night, which
7.5 was last I checked.
Rarity. Like, I want to say the statistic is something like home teams win on Thursday night because of a short week more than 75% of the time. And look, it was a great offensive performance. It was a great game plan from Mike McDaniel. I love how the players showed up, and to me, it quieted the head coaching noise for at least a week. But you can't come out here and get blown out at home on a Thursday night by 3 touchdowns, because then it's going to go right back to where we were. And, we know the deficiencies of this team, and we know what the Ravens bring. And, but yeah, I don't see them piecing that together as well moving forward, simply because of who they're playing. And remember, no Drake London in that game either. So when you're missing your top wide receiver and your quarterback, and you know that Kirk Cousins is not running the ball at all, you can have a great defensive game plan. And that's what they did. But it seems like, in talking to the coaches, that there's been good game plans in place. It's just players are not executing the plays. So we saw a couple changes, playing time, and we'll see what happens Thursday. Thursdays, it's so rough on the bodies. Like, it's going to be high scoring. The defense isn't going to be what it's going to be. It's just the nature of what a Thursday night is. And so that's really something to pay attention to, especially for all the people that are putting money on the game.
Yeah. And that's sort of, on Sunday, they played a game that was perfection. I mean, everything worked. Everything that they did worked on in all 3 phases of the game. So kudos to them with that. I pointed out, which got some fans upset, but I'm like, you have to keep things in perspective and context. Because, you see some fans, we're back. Now we're going to go on a run. We've done this before. And I'm like, we've beaten Justin Fields and Kirk Cousins, who looks worse than Tim Boyle did when he played for us. Take it for what it is. Be happy that we got a win. Enjoy the win. But just, keep things in perspective, because our next 3 games are against Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Jaden Daniels. And then we get the Saints and the Jets again. Yeah. And then we go to Rodgers, probably Joe Burrow, Mayfield, and Drake May. Win half of those games and then tell me we're back. You know what I mean? It's like, I understand, that the fans are dying for a win. And it was nice to see the team celebrate the win. It's so tough. This on the entire organization when you lose that much, from people who work in the office, to people behind the scenes, to the players, to the staff. So it was nice to see them have a Sunday where everything went well. They won. People complain about the draft pick. It's October. Don't worry about that. It's still very early when it comes to, where we're going to pick in the draft. You got 2 more months of games. Just chill out on that. So I was happy they won, but I can't sit here with a straight face and be like, okay, now we're going to go on. You know what? Beat Lamar Jackson, beat Josh Allen, who you never beat, and win those 2 games, then talk to me about maybe making a push for the wild card. Until we beat a good quarterback. Playoff. Until we beat a good quarterback, I can't get excited about this team this year.
No.
Here's my next question. Let's say this team wins a few more games. Let's say they end the year with 7 or 8 wins. Is that enough to save anyone's job? If we go 8 and whatever it would be.
8 and 9?
8 and 9, 7 and 10. Because the spin will be, look where we were, and we ended the year hot. And you know what? We handed over wins against New England and the Panthers and Chargers. We really aren't that bad. We just let a couple slip away early, but we ended the year somewhat hot. Would that convince the owner to be like, status quo is good enough if we end up with 7 or 8 wins? Which with the Saints and the Jets and some of these other teams, it's not impossible. I don't think it's likely, but it's not impossible if they end up with like 7, I'd say.
That's high.
It is high.
We're at 2. I see the Saints and the Jets. You're getting to 4. I don't know where the other 3 come from.
Well, that'd be tougher. But
I'll give you a one random one. There's 3. Maybe Jaden Daniels isn't back and it's Marcus Mariota.
In
the Spain game.
Steal one there. Yeah.
Maybe, especially the way they looked against the Chiefs.
What if New England has everything locked up?
Yeah, that could happen.
So you might get one there. Yeah.
All right, so maybe we're at 6 or 6 and 11.
Okay, say we get to 6 or 7 wins.
Yeah. All right. So here's really the question mark. It's who's going to want to come in and understand that Tua Tagovailoa is the quarterback next year?
Nobody.
And
that's the problem.
In my opinion, Mike McDaniel is the perfect coach for Tua, and this team is tied to Tua contractually through the end of next year before they can make outs. And unless you're going to pull Russell Wilson, that happened in Denver, and look, Denver looks great. Hope Pat Surtain's okay, but it's really tough. It's just Tua's the guy. You paid him to be the guy, and everyone's firing off Mendoza and name your quarterback in the draft.
More.
Yeah, look at Cam Ward this year is the best example. Like, you just don't have enough, and this team has so many holes on its roster, and to eat $80 million in cap space for a year is just, it's interesting. I think more interesting, that might be the answer to this question too, which is going to play a factor. This Thursday game is the last one before the trade deadline.
I was going to get to that.
So depending on what happens, we'll see, what Miami sells off. And I think, we've kind of hinted at this, like, if Chris Greer is here, do you want him making the decisions that's going to impact this team down the future if he's not going to be the guy come the draft or past Black Friday on the day after the regular season ends? So, it seems like Ross will continue to be patient. You love how the team showed up for Mike McDaniel, and unless the wheels fall off, I see McDaniel lasting, and unless they start getting blown out by multiple touchdowns. And then you're going to have the caveat of Tyreek Hill got hurt, you lost your best player, this and that. And we knew going into the year this was going to be the restructure year where they let all their high players go. Reset.
Soft reset. That's what we're doing.
So
all the ducks in a row.
But to me, that shouldn't be a status quo as an owner, and that's the problem. That's the issue. It should not be.
No.
But look, this is. I was having another conversation with someone, and like, is this job attractive to somebody? Like, and the answer is yes, because
if there's no Tua.
I even say with Tua, I think it's an attractive job because of what is here. It seems like you'll have carte blanche to make decisions, and a lot of people like that. You'd have to bring in your whole crew, and that's going to take time. So you're looking at a 3 to 5 year rebuild anyway. It's just,
I think the days of 5 year rebuilds are over. Nobody gets 5 years anymore, because you see some coaches get one and done. I understand what you're saying with who's here, Sailor Cat. I think 3 years is more than enough to turn around a team. 5's a bit much, I think.
Yeah, so Mike McDaniel's in year 4. Will he get that 5th year?
Yeah, but he took over a team that won 9 games in 10 games. He didn't walk into a bad situation.
Right. I agree. But this team is in salary cap purgatory. You've lost so many pieces. You have so many pieces that are hurt. And right now you look to be a far away third in a division where you have a perennial Super Bowl contender in the Bills, as long as Josh Allen is the quarterback.
Yeah, that I agree with. Yeah.
And but look at Vrabel and what they've been able to do with the Patriots. And to me, if I'm making decisions, a change at the top, can pay dividends, because that team spent a lot of money this offseason bringing in a lot of people. But I would be interesting to see. I don't think it would happen if Mike McDaniel would consider moving down and becoming an OC and having them bring somebody else in.
That would never happen.
And
never.
I don't think it would ever happen under
never
his
happen.
contract. I think he'd walk. But
yeah,
I did love Frank Smith moving down to the sidelines. It was not talked about on the broadcast. The players talked about this a lot. That's a key move. And I really hope that can continue to bring success. The young players really like him. And for the fans watching, you forget how young this Dolphins team really is. But I think we could see a run back scenario if this team continues to
get to 6 or 7 wins. Yeah, don't get blown out. Get to 6 or 7 wins. Don't be embarrassing.
If you all of a sudden trade Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, and Rasul Douglas at the deadline for,
they're giving up. Yeah.
Like then as a head coach, like it's like what do you want me to do here? Like,
yeah.
So if that's a situation, then I can see the coaching staff stay on as well. But I think we'll get a better picture once we get through the November 4th deadline, and I think this week's a big indicator. I think if you can compete with the Ravens, which I expect this team to do, I don't expect them to come out and lay an egg. I think Mike McDaniel's job will be safe through the bye, but this would be the quote unquote best week to put somebody else in place following this, simply because you have the 10 days.
10 days.
So in a couple of weeks, you got the Bills right after that. Then you're going to Spain. So maybe.
And what do we say all summer? Will Mike McDaniel make it to Spain?
Yeah.
Here we are.
And here we are. So it's, if you play well against the Ravens, I think you make it to Spain. If you get spanked by the Ravens, we'll see what happens. But what's interesting, and they didn't really have a choice, was that the season ticket packages came out and there were no raises, and there's still a waiting list. So from a business standpoint, that was good. They understand the product is subpar. And I think that was a good move by the Dolphins. Well,
they had to. I mean, if they would have tried, they would have been destroyed. Social media would have been.
But they understood. So yeah.
Read the room, and they read the room.
But my thing is I'm trying to figure this out. Is why did Tua have so much success in this last game, and what was the difference?
Oh, I got that answer. They put a sixth offensive lineman out there and gave him a little bit more time, and he could run the ball. Josh,
where the fuck has this been all fucking season?
That's what's so frustrating to me. It's like, we're all adults, we're all humans. I know sometimes on social media people don't see it that way. It's always, you said this, black or white. No, multiple thoughts. Can be happy they won. That's one thought. The second thought is, I don't expect this every week. The third thought is, this is why this is frustrating being a fan of this team. It's like, why did it take Mike McDaniel 4 years to figure this out? Like this, he hasn't had a good offensive line the entire time he's been here, especially when you have Hill and Waddle. You don't need tight ends and third wide receivers. Put a sixth offensive lineman out there, run the ball even better, give your quarterback some time, and let's go. He waits to practically got 1 foot out the door to do this.
It took him not having Darren Waller and Julian Hill available to be like, oh God, I have no tight ends. What are we going to do? And we understand this is a trend in the league this year, bringing in that sixth offensive lineman. We know it's a copycat league, but you're Mr. Innovative. And my concern with Mike McDaniel, again, I'm a Mike McDaniel fan, is that he's a great play caller, offensive coordinator, and I'm worried that there's simply too much on his plate with the head coaching responsibilities.
We've said that forever. Yeah, I mean,
and but this is a week where it was great, and I kind of like Mike's demeanor now. It's like, I'm going to do my job. It's like up to everybody else to do their job, and I think we're finally getting some delegation in better spots, and it's good. You're going to need people to step up, and this week they stepped up. And, I hope Tua rocks his visor for a while and has this amount of success. And, I don't know what this allergic reaction was with his eye. He really wasn't saying much on it. But I love the rotation of running backs. It's something that we hadn't seen. And I love the play call from the SEC championship game that they pulled back out. These are things that we'll call it the galvanizing moments. And it finally clicked. The question is consistency. Can you do this again? And can you stay healthy? And Zach Sealer is a player that I'm looking to that played much better because he had Benito Jones in instead of
more
Grant.
Snaps than Grant. That's right.
And remember, he was drafted by the Ravens, and they kind of let him walk out the door. So this, to me, is a Zach Sealer revenge game, and I want to see him play really well. Then again, will you set the edge, guys on the outside, not go chasing, and can you keep Lamar Jackson contained? And we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
nobody on the back end, and especially now Storm Duck again.
Storm Duck, poor guy, can't catch a break. Really can't catch a break. I want to circle back to one thing you said there about Tua and how Mike, might be safe. If they can get to like 6 or 7 wins, he might be safe beyond this year. I think if they win like 4, I think he's still probably gone. When they get to 6 or 7, I think you're right. He might be tied to Tua. The thing I'll say, first off, my first thought is I would take the approach that they did with Russell Wilson in Denver, like rip the Band-Aid off. Because next year, especially if you go with the new head coach next year, especially if that's the approach, like take the hit. Year one's always a honeymoon anyways. Take the hit, move past it, figure it out, and just sort of tread water. My main issue with him staying at quarterback and possibly the head coach, if he were to stay, they're both lame ducks. Like, you have a lame duck quarterback because the next year short of winning the Super Bowl or winning the East, which is probably unlikely, he gone because they're going to get out of that contract the first chance they get. And the head coach, if you're only keeping him for the quarterback, he a lame duck too. And he probably going to be gone too, short of winning the East or winning the Super Bowl. I don't know how you go into a season and try to sell that to your fan base and try to sell that even to the roster when it's going to be reported everywhere. It's just a lame duck, so you might as well keep him because you keep that's a tough sell.
I agree.
And this is what the Dolphins never do. They never fire the head coach and the general manager at the same time. So if they're going to move on from Chris Greer but keep Mike McDaniel, it's the same cycle where Jeff Ireland stays, new head coach stays, new GM. It's like it never works. In my opinion, the best way to do this is a clean sweep, new vision, new faces, new approach. If they have to keep the quarterback for one more year, it's fine. You're not going to get a very good head coaching candidate, though. No one's going to want, he got 2 head coaches fired. Now I got to go in there for a year with him. No, I mean, you're going to get, someone with 0 experience and probably young with no experience. And it's going to be the same growing pains you had with McDaniel. And that's a lot to go through. The Mike McCarthy, Cliff Kingsbury's, Steve Sarkisians of the world who have some sort of a resume. They're looking at Miami. He go, yeah, no thanks. Let me see what the Titans are doing. Let me see what this team is doing. They're not going to want to come here. You're going to get Joe Brady, 36 years old, just been a coordinator for Josh Allen, and now you're going to take away Josh Allen and make him a head coach. Good luck with that. That's tough. So to me,
that's realistic.
It's only realistic if that's the approach they take. That wouldn't be the approach I take, but once again, nobody listens to me. They should, though.
Bookmark this date. October 28th. Save this one.
Free advice, guys. I don't even want your money for it. Last game before the trade thing here on November 4th, which I agree. A win might change what they do. A loss might change what they do. Tom Pelissero Sunday put out this report that some people picked up on that a lot, said that Miami they're telling the teams who are phoning them not going to be a fire sale. And you know what? I had right above my head, off went the light bulb. This Dolphins team, they don't play 3D chess. They are transparent as cellophane sometimes. And if they're saying it ain't going to be a fire sale, I kind of take them at their word. Now, I think Chubb could get moved. But beyond that, I don't know who else they're going to move. I know the name. People say Jalen Phillips. Okay, I guess it's possible. But even I find that hard to believe because they might want to keep him next year and say, you know what? Our best chance of keeping him is to sign him between January and March before he hits free agency type of deal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And if Chris Greer is going to be here and not get fired, he loves his compensatory picks. He might want to play that game with him. So yeah, I think a win, they might hold on to some of these guys on Thursday. A loss, maybe they part with 2, not 1. That's kind of where I'm thinking right now.
As far as the linebackers, as far as we're talking Phillips and Chubb together, yeah, I think 1 makes sense. You're obviously going to keep Chop Robinson. You're obviously going to keep Jalen Waddle unless somebody's throwing you a first. I think what they mean by value or by no fire sale, they're going to want top dollar for their guys. Like they want something that makes sense. And, you could make an argument with the Heat, like they kind of operate the same way. They want to win the trade if they will. Yeah. And that's
which I
great.
Get. Yeah.
That's great. Like that's a good approach. But with this soft reset, you got to get with Brandon Shore. And I'm sure that conversations have been had where they have assessed value on all of the pieces that they would potentially move and what they would need bottom line to get in return and what that salary dump would do for the salary cap. Like those numbers are all in place. That's literally Brandon Shore's job. So, I really don't see anything that Quinn Ewers or Zach Wilson, there's no value there.
No.
You might get something for Ollie Gordon or Wright, but I don't think you're giving up either piece.
I will say this. If Minnesota, who just lost Wentz, keeps losing quarterbacks, Zach Wilson might be an attractive option for them at some point because they're really scraping the bottom of the barrel right now.
Yeah, but that's crazy to me, though, that they knew that Wentz was hurt, and they still trotted him out there for 2 games hurt, shot up over a healthy J.J. McCarthy, which is I was talking to Aaron Jones about this. It's wild to me, and it's I cannot rationalize that decision making. But then again, I'm just a media person. I'm not.
What do we know? Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I'd be very curious to talk to Carson. Like, good for him for putting his body on the line for that. I would have said I'm done. Like, I'm going to get fixed. Like,
especially with the money he's made.
Yeah,
you don't need that.
No reason for that. But you're so thin everywhere that there isn't really a tradable asset. Like you like, what are you going to get for Willie Gay? What are you going to get for Dodson?
Sevens. They're all sevens.
It's not enough to move the needle.
Exactly. Chubb's a 6th. Jalen, you might get a 5th for Jalen just because of his age and what he was. Which is still not much. But my approach is this: which I don't know the answer to this. If they right now, which everyone still has a job, so they have to act like they're still going to be here. If they don't have if they're not going to pay him, or if they think he wants this and we're going to offer this and we're probably not going to meet, then trading him now get you a pick in next year's draft to help you right away. Unless these guys think they're going to be here in 3 years, and then I'll take the compensatory pick in 2027 and not worry about it.
That's the other thing, because you get your compensatory pick, then there's no Tua, there's no head coach. Now you bring in that new regime, like that's your quote unquote first draft.
But that compensatory pick might not even happen, because if those new people come in and sign a bunch of guys because they have all this space, you might not get the compensatory pick even, because you might be offset.
Yeah, we'll see. It's I
think Chubb's getting moved. And outside of that, I don't expect anyone else to get moved. That's kind of where I am as of October 28th.
Yeah.
Maybe Judon. If someone wanted Judon for his 7th call, who cares? But that's it.
Yeah, Judon to me could be a piece.
Those are it, though. Chubb, Judon, Jalen. I think those are the only
a run. Yeah, that's probably it. Akine hasn't shown anything, especially now with Eskridge day to day. You're going to need that body. Taj Washington, we still don't know. Malik to me is not a tradable piece. Westbrook Akine is a tradable piece, but
Jalen Wright could be. Jalen Wright could be if a team who needs a running back. Although every team who needed a running back, a team like the Chargers kind of found one off the street. It's like, I don't know who needs one. That's the thing.
And they traded up to get him. Mike McDaniel really likes, and he likes the mix. We talked about that with him on Monday of just the body types, the style of running, and you got to pay Devon Achane here. So, it's going to be interesting. And, I mean, we know this Ravens defense. They're long. They're rangy. It's the prototypical Ravens defense that's been in place for 10 years. They look for a certain type of player. And, just come out and show something. But offensively, you need 28 points.
Oh, yeah. Because I don't think we're going to be stopping Lamar Jackson like we stopped Atlanta this week.
Yeah.
That ain't happening.
Can you get 4 tutties this week? You're going to need to run one of them in. Derrick Henry, we'll see what he can do. Zay Flowers is going to want to play really well against this team. He's from down here. And, this team's got a lot. They're a little banged up, but everybody's banged up. We're almost at the halfway point. But, yeah, you need 30 points to win this game.
Here's what's funny. We are October 28th. Right now in Vegas, the 2-5 Ravens are still the favorites to win the AFC North because the North is such a disaster. Cleveland, they ain't got a quarterback. They're a mess.
Steelers are what?
4-3. And they still have to play them twice.
And then Burrow's back too late.
Burrow's back, and they just lost to the Jets, which really hurt. I mean, look, if they would have beat the Jets, they would have been in a nice spot just waiting for Joe Burrow to come back. But that loss really hurts them. Lose the Jets at home, too. But because I think they're 3-5. Pittsburgh's 4-3, I think, maybe. I don't know, something like that. And they got the Ravens at 2-5 are still the favorite because they still have all these games in front of them head to head. So people still think now that he's back, Lamar, watch out. They're going to go on a run. And you know what? I tend to agree with them. I think they're going to win the North.
I mean, if I had to pick who's more likely to go on a run, the Dolphins or the Ravens, I'm choosing
the Ravens
all day.
I'm taking Lamar Jackson every day of the week. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The guy's won how many MVPs? 3, I think? 2? 3? I don't even know.
He should have won 3. They gave it to Allen last year out of
that's right. They
technicality, even though his stats were bad.
Yeah, I think he's going to go. I think they're going to go on a little bit of a run, and unfortunately, I think it starts on Thursday. Which again, that starts the domino effect of what happens with a head coach with a 10-day layoff. What happens by November 4th? The next week to 10 days is going to be very interesting for the Dolphins because if they actually win that game, I think it will be status quo. And look, now we've sort of turned things around. We sort of righted the ship a little bit here. Let's see where this goes, even though we might not have much hope. That's how they're going to see it, which they should. Yeah. They should see it that way.
And I'm not opposed to sending a 6th or a 7th round pick to go get a cornerback or to go get some help in the secondary. Like, we need a body. And you've got – what are you going to get in the 6th and 7th round anyway? Like, go get me somebody that can help. And you just – I mean, you got Ashton Davis, who's – don't know his status. Afita we finally saw make a play. He was in and out of that game. Minka needs help. He's battling. He'll play on Thursday, even though he came out of the last game. But it's just you need a body and you need an impact player. And waiting for Kader Kohu to come back next year isn't the answer.
No, it's not the answer. And prior to us live here tonight, there was a trade. San Francisco is one of those teams in the market for an edge rusher. Yeah. They found an edge rusher from New England in Keon White. So San Francisco got themselves an edge rusher. Look, I don't know what's going on with the Patriots, but they have a chance to win the East and get a home playoff game. White must just not be in the rotation, or they just don't want him around. I don't know.
Yeah, he wasn't in the rotation. He had, I think, 4 or 5 sacks last year. They got an extra 6th round pick. They sent out a 7th. I don't want any 6-7 jokes, everybody. It's coming.
Oh, God. I don't even know what that is, but I've seen it on the news.
We'll skip it.
Good.
But, yeah, it's, again, like these late round picks, like how much is it really going to help your team? And I think, these big sexy names that I know fans want, it's hard to do mid-season. Chubb was a mid-season trade.
Yes, he was. He was late October, right before Halloween, I think.
And I'm trying to think of like the last time that the Dolphins really brought somebody in like that. That's the only one that really comes to mind.
He would be it. I mean, of like big name stature, he'd be it.
Yeah, and then they paid him the $100 million.
Yeah, well, that was part of the trade. If you're going to part with a 1st round pick, or was he a 1st or 2nd? Either way, you better make sure he's locked up for years to come.
Yeah,
and they did. So they paid him. It was like when they made the trade for Hill, which was in March. Obviously, they paid him, lock him up long term, give him what he wanted to make him happy. Ramsey, that was in March too. I'm trying to think anything in mid-season.
He does. The only one I can think of.
I mean, there's probably been some smaller ones that we're not thinking of, guys. But yeah, I think that's like the main one. Yeah.
I mean, Melvin Ingram's been hanging out in the parking lot in the games.
Melvin Ingram would love to come back anytime.
We get King Mel back in the building. Good dude. I like him. But
I'm just doing.
We'll see. Yeah,
I'm doing a quick search. Chase Claypool, I guess counts.
I forgot about that.
I forgot about that. Yeah, Chase.
Is he out of the league? Is he with somebody?
He was in Canada. I think he had a tryout for the Bills in like August, but I don't think he made it.
Physical free.
So we've actually traded more guys away at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
We've traded away Jay Ajayi. We traded away Drake at running back.
Wow.
Chase Claypool was one. Kenny and Drake, Jay Ajayi. So we've traded away more guys than traded for at the trade deadline in recent years. I'm not going all the way back to start time here.
No, but
sense. We'll see. Someone did bring up Jeff Wilson. Yes, I think he was one too. Jeff Wilson, we did get 4 in season.
Yeah.
Was that trade or was he cut? That was a trade with San Fran.
No, they sent somebody. He came over for the 49ers the first time. Somebody got hurt. We had a running back get hurt. And then we needed somebody. I think Raheem might have been banged up.
No. Did we trade Chase Edmonds as part of the Chubb deal? And then we went and got Jeff Wilson, maybe? I can't remember totally, so I could be wrong.
All blends together.
I know, it all blends together.
Because Chase went to Arizona, I think.
No, but he was part of the Chubb deal at first.
Maybe.
I know, it all blends together. Who knows? Okay. Either way, we got a game on Thursday night. We'll see what happens. Hey, real quick here before we wrap up, if you're going to place a bet this weekend, go to mybookie.com. And when you go to mybookie.com, if you're signing up for the first time, make sure that you use the promo code Dolphins. And for your first bet, click the bet back bonus token. Here's why. We want you to win your bets. And if you win, that's great. Don't worry about the bet back bonus token. But here's why you want to hit it before you place your bet. God forbid you lose your bet, and it's been known to happen. it's like the bet never happened. The money still shows up in your account, and you get to bet another game with that same money. So you got 2 chances to win. So go to mybookie.com. Promo
James
code
Madison minus
Dolphins.
6.5 tonight. That's my.
There we go.
That's
you can
my
get that in.
Go with that.
Yeah, I mean, this past weekend, I will admit, when I was in South Florida, I had a great weekend of betting. Thank you, Texas Tech and Clemson that weekend, really. This past week, I had a rough week. I'm not going to lie. It happens. It's ebbs and flows. You got to ride out the waves. So that's why you want to use the bet back bonus token. So if you do lose, the money's still there, and you get to try again with another game. MyBookie.com, promo code Dolphins. Check it out. All right. Again, so the show I did with Allie is up. Check that out. We do talk some football as well, but yes, we did a candy draft. We have some fun. Also, Josh Katzker, he did a show today with a Ravens podcaster talking about the game on Thursday night. Check that up. That's on our YouTube channel. Josh spoke to a popular Ravens podcaster. We got that tomorrow night, myself and Tom Ernest with the preview show for this week's game. And then Thursday night, a live watch along with myself and Josh Katzker. And, maybe myself and Josh Moser. I don't want to promise the time exactly, but we might pop on here on YouTube Thursday prior to the game and sort of talk about what's happening on the field. So be on the lookout for that. Maybe. Got to tune in. That's why you got to be subscribed to the Dolphins Talk YouTube channel. Everyone have a great Tuesday night. Have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you again real soon. And as always, when you're on the road with the trick-or-treaters this week, be careful for the kids. And please don't forget, with the kids on the streets, not only be careful, we must put an end to highway profanity.